Hello, Fabulous Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of September 2016, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What a big month it is, and really part of the bigness of this month is the eclipses. One eclipse early in the month. Now that eclipse is speaking with your ruling planet, Saturn, in a conversation of some tension and some motivation. And it's standing across from Neptune. Neptune right now in a part of the sky for you that has to do with communication and talking things out. So at least early in the month, there's a whole lot of sensitivity for all of us out there. And you especially want to be mindful of this with your conversations, communications, and your words. Because as I look at this, it does suggest that a whole lot of emotion could swell and surprise you at the very least. And possibly even the person that you're connecting with. So if you're open to meeting someone new, I mean, you could just be interacting with somebody, just having a little bit of back and forth, new beginnings, getting to know somebody, and then some very strong emotions come to the surface. That could happen for you or for that person. If you're in an established bond early in the month, it could be very innocent, right? It could be you thinking about, talking about all kinds of matters having to do with the world, and then it becomes very personal and it comes back around, starts getting personal, and then the conversation ultimately lends itself to maybe some tears as well. So you want to be mindful of that. Some tears are great, right? Sometimes they're cathartic, and it may not necessarily have anything to do with you, but it is possible if there's like some pent-up stuff that hasn't been talked about, like something that's very big picture, like big topics that aren't being looked at in a relationship that need to be addressed. This is very possible that they come out early in the month, and there could be a very emotional exchange that takes place. But regardless, people in general, right around the early part of the month, are feeling their emotions very much on the sleeve. Being patient is always a good idea. It always goes a long way. As we move further into the month, we are going to have another eclipse take place. Now, this eclipse is happening in this same part of the sky that has to do with communication. This eclipse is speaking with Mars. Now, this in general is a very, it's an energy that can be very passionate, okay? Lots of emotions can rise very much to the surface. And so you do want to be mindful of that, sort of right around the same time as we move into the month. We are going to also have the final conversation between your ruling planet and Neptune as well. And so this is really where we're going to be feeling it. There's going to be a lot that looks a certain way, but in reality turns out to be something different. So it's important to watch. And this includes, of course, in your first meetings with someone new. It may appear that they are a certain way, believe certain things, think certain things, and people may present themselves in a way that makes them seem a little bit more idealistic than they may be. And it's very possible that strong attractions can transpire with people that you meet in the middle of the month. But as I said, all is not necessarily as it seems. So ultimately, it's up to you to decide how it is you want to navigate, right? If you meet somebody, you're feeling some strong connections, strong emotions, just know that your opinions, your feelings, that could go through some evolution. It could go through some changes. Now, if you are in an established bond in the middle of the month, again, I'm seeing some very passion around conversations, around words. And so if you are in a place where it feels like you have a lot to talk about, there's a lot of things that need to get out, I would invite you to consider not, getting too much into it around the middle of the month. Only because of that position with Mars, it could really become like a whole lot of stuff coming out that ends up surprising even you. But also with this, it does suggest that in conversation and in some very casual conversation, that more is revealed that ends up taking you by surprise. As I look at this though, it does look like, and again, especially in the middle of the month, people in general are going to want to confide in you. There might even be some gossip, and it could be around things that you are not aware of. So things that you don't know, things that people have been keeping secret up until now. This ultimately, again, it's always up to you to decide what you're going to do with it and how you're going to work with this energy. But as I look at this, it does suggest a time that is particularly passionate, where emotions are very much not only emotions on the surface, but passions on the surface as well. And just know that with the fact that Mercury is retrograde, really information you're getting really might not be accurate. It may not be what you think it is. And so if you can give it that little bit of time, if it's something that is about you or does concern you, if you can give it that little bit of buffer, and that includes if you are in an established bond. If you're in an established bond and your partner says something, you might actually have interpreted it differently, or they might have intended it to be something different. And before you know it, some very strong feelings are coming to the surface. And so you just want to be mindful. It is a sensitive month, but at the same time, there is also a lot of energy here that can be really hopeful and really positive. In the middle of all of this, these eclipses, you add to this, Venus will be speaking to Pluto in your sign, that is really going to make love matters feel like they are very faded, feel like they are pulling you in a certain direction, and feel like there's some large lessons there. But even with that, in the middle of all this, we are also going to have what astrologers like to call the luckiest day of the year. This is the Sun and Jupiter meeting in the sky in the second part of the month. And so I want to emphasize this because this to me does suggest that there's a whole lot of hope and a whole lot of possibility. What this month is, it's not one thing or the other. It is eventful. It is one that can feel very consequential, where decisions are being made, where information is coming forward, and yet at the same time, there is belief, there is hope, there is positive and lucky occurrences taking place as well. And all of that, of course, encapsulates love as well. That is generally the story of love anyways. Just this month, all of the blessings and all of the lessons that love provides will be that much more amplified. And ultimately, part of the learning, part of the lesson in all of this is to understand that it all is a reflection of the love that you have, the love that is available to you.